this video, myself and Adam C fly to Switzerland to see one of the most insane collections of concept cars in the entire world. We are, of course, talking about Rinspeed. Not only that, we meet the creator himself, Frank, and he shows us around this incredible collection. But for me, there is one car in particular that I was absolutely desperate to see, and it is based on a Porsche 996 Turbo. What I didn't know, however, is that in another collection of Frank's, there was another concept car also based on a Porsche, but this time a 997. These are two of the most incredible Porsches I have ever seen, and I cannot wait for you guys to see it. Let's get into the video. There it is. There it is. I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit distracted by the Aston Martin V8 Vantage shooting brake, but this is what this random thing that is a 996 Turbo turned into a pickup of sorts. But this entire row of incredible shapes, and we will be able to get up close with every single one of them, are all Rinspeed. It gives the year of when it was developed. This was 2003, which I believe was about midway through production for the 996 Turbo. But it was the first year of the Cayenne, and obviously, as you can see, it's got some really chunky tyres. So it was giving some Cayenne vibes as well, just with a lot more 911 design language, and then this absolutely insane back, which we will get to and we will be having a look at. And there's a mirror, and then there's Adam C again.
I'm excited.
Me too. By the way, we also do need to say, Frank, absolute legend.
Of course.
He's like a proper legend.
Anyone who creates
Something like this has just got to, he's our people, guys. He's our people. Look at this absolutely nutty design, paint, concept, absolutely everything. This is just insane, and that is the back, which turns a 996 Turbo into a pickup truck, effectively. I am just insane. Wow. Oh, and look at that. Look at that Swarovski crystal rhinestone Rinspeed logo on the back. It still has the very 996 Turbo sort of rear hips there. That would be the same on a 996 Turbo. This is just wild. From here, you can barely see anything that is suggesting what this car is actually based on, apart from the vent on the bottom there, the shape of the rear sort of C-frame, I suppose you'd call it. And of course the wing mirrors. Wow, this is just wild. So guys, obviously we've just been having a look around. One of my absolute childhood dream cars. I had a photo of this printed off in my dorm room. What makes it even better seeing this car is that we are actually here with the creator himself. This is Frank, or as we could call him potentially, Mr. Rinspeed himself. Thank you so much for letting us come and do this. Like, your collection is insane. My first question, if I may, what on earth was in the water in Switzerland around 2003 for you to create such a bonkers car?
Well, you know, creativity doesn't know any borders. You have to let your thoughts flow. Creativity for me is also teamwork. Yeah. You know, it's exchange, to criticize, to push up, and the theme on this one was, beside that it's sustainable, it runs on natural gas, is to make it trick in as far as it converts from a station wagon into a pickup truck.
Into a pickup truck.
Based on a 911, 996 Porsche.
Not just a 996 Porsche, guys, a 996 Turbo.
Yes.
So it still retains the twin turbocharged 3.6 litre flat six engine. Did you do anything to the engine? Did you change the engine in any way?
No, the engine is all stock. It was not about making it more full, but more sustainable. Yep. What has changed is the steering. It's a progressive steering, which does not have the usual 3 turns to go from point to point. So you do that within less than 1 turn, but it's just progressive.
Hence why it has the steering wheel, which doesn't, because you don't need the top of the steering wheel to...
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yes.
I did notice as well, which Adam, I don't even think you spotted, but the edges of the steering wheel are in fact the gear levers. Is that correct?
No.
No.
No, it's just for show.
Oh, I see.
And it's for people to see. It's not a normal steering wheel.
Yes, but they are the same design as what a
Yes,
gear lever would be.
Could be, yes.
Absolutely, interesting.
Made out of crystal.
It made out of crystal because you have lots and lots of collaborators, like Continental Tires, for example, Remus exhaust on some of your earlier cars, and we learnt on the car drive over. In fact, Mansouri as well is someone that you've collaborated with. I'm guessing Swarovski Crystal was a collaborator with this car because it is all over the car.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely incredible. And the final thing that I really have to ask about it, because a lot of people, when they saw this car, it was featured on a Top Gear episode back in 2003, 2004. I remember going into school the next day, and I remember my friends saying to me, "Did you see that wild Cayenne on Top Gear?" And of course, it isn't a Cayenne, it's a 996 turbo, but it has very Cayenne-esque attributes. Was there some kind of, the Cayenne was around at the time and you were kind of emulating a bit of that design language?
No, if I'm not mistaken, but don't take me up on it, this was before Cayenne.
Before Cayenne.
I think.
Yes, I think you could be right.
Yes.
Yeah, I think actually you could be right. And then finally, the pickup design, which is just so out of this world. Can you just tell us a little bit more about how you've made that work and also what gave you the idea to do that in the first place?
Well, it's, you see the roof is split here.
Yeah.
So basically this always stays. This becomes the rear window and this becomes the bottom.
The bottom.
So you can pack whatever you want, unlimited height, and you still have the tailgate.
Yeah.
And depending on whether you need to hold people or goods, you just convert the car into your needs.
Into your needs, because of course the rear seats will fold down.
Yes.
This comes down. This also becomes the bottom of the bed as well. And you could put, you could put a couple of mountain bikes in the back, for example.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Interesting, absolutely insane. Well, this has been a dream to even come and see it in person, but even more so to come and speak to you as well. And it gets even better than this, guys, because we're here at this absolutely incredible museum. I'll put a link to it in the video. It has been amazing. The staff have been super friendly. But after this, we're also going to go and see the rest of your collection. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
So stick around for that, guys. And as I said, if you want to see more detail on some of the other cars,
It's your day today.
it's my day today. Well, it is my day today, Frank. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. If you want to see more detail on some of the other cars that you might have seen here and there in my video, go and check out Adam C's video. But for now, we're going to have another look at this incredible car, and then we're going to go and see what else Frank has got in his shed. Let's go. So Frank, Adam C, and myself all jumped over to the next location, and on the way the scenery just got more and more beautiful despite being a little bit foggy. But one thing that Frank did speak to us about I thought was rather interesting. When Frank was creating these concept cars back in the 90s, early 2000s and through into the noughties, he had a lot of backlash, a lot of kickback from other people in Switzerland exclaiming that what he was doing was just not Swiss. And I find that really interesting. The fact that he was being met with so much adversity, not just from all of the complications of creating such amazing cars, but also having kickback and pushback from people within his own country. Thank goodness he didn't listen to any of them. Anyway, we're pulling up now to the next location where we are going to see some absolutely insane concept cars, including the underwater Lotus. This is insane, right? Okay, 0.5. Look at that. That is the coolest simple steering system, although it probably isn't very simple, ever. That is wild. I can't believe we're allowed to just play here. Like, I could spend days here. Days! The only thing with this car, though, is that if you're in traffic, you can't have a cheeky scratch, can you? No, you can't. Everyone's going to see. I'm actually learning a lot just from listening to Adam, who's done all the research on this. And a lot of these cars, including the i8 that I'm a bit in love with, are all fully autonomous. So the steering wheel folds down, completely autonomous car. I don't know why you'd want to do that, because the BMW i8 is actually a really, really good car to drive if anyone's driven one. They actually hold the road really nice. They've got loads of grip. They don't sound too bad as well for a 3-cylinder mini engine with a whacking great big turbocharger, but a lot of these cars were developed not just to be beautiful concepts, but also to be completely autonomous. Rinspeed is no joke. They really, really did push the envelope with a lot of what they did. that shape though, that nose. An i8 without kidney grills, mwah, chef's kiss. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with this interior. I mean, the i8 was already a pretty car, but that is just gorgeous. Look at that steering wheel. Look at the bunda on that. Oh my God. My absolutely favourite thing about it is this steering wheel. I think it's just cracking. It's absolutely fantastic. Oh, I'm just obsessed. I really am obsessed. Oh. So another automotive / nautical collaboration is this. This is the Rinspeed Splash. Now, you may recognise this, not in its current colour, but the original colour, which was blue. Richard Hammond drove this on an old episode of Top Gear that came out in about 2005. This is the world's first car hydrofoil. So what happens is these fold down. This rear spoiler folds down completely. There is an outboard motor that comes out of the back, and this turns into an actual hydrofoil. Have a look at that. This is an incredible piece of design and an incredible feat of engineering. Just a beautiful thing. And right next to it, of course, we have the Scuba. This is what took the James Bond concept to real life. Obviously, it's a few years on. The James Bond car was an S2 Esprit, as we know. This is a Lotus Elise, and this really does go underwater. Again, we've got the photography to prove it. And the way it works is really rather simply, to be honest with you. There are scuba tanks in the back, so while you're sitting here, driver and passenger can plumb their face masks into there, and you've got air. At the back, there are some propellers either side, and then you have some directional fans that run here, which will blow air to help you go up, down, or wherever else you need to go. But this is a real car that can go underwater, as if your name is, in fact, James Bond. You can really tell that Frank has not just a love for cars, but a love for boats as well, which he does. And that really comes through in a lot of these concepts. But I can't help get away from the fact that I think a lot of this stuff was just too ahead of its time, which is probably the greatest compliment you could pay to any creative. Is if you're too ahead of your time, that means you really, really are ahead of the game. I really genuinely think that marketed today, there's a lot of very wealthy people in London who are driving around in Brabus Jimny things. That is going to guarantee way more attention. And I'm sorry, if you're driving around in a Brabus kitted Suzuki Jimny, attention is what you are looking for. Get yourself a Rinspeed 6-wheeled smart car. So this was the first ever Rinspeed car. This is the Rinspeed Roadster. This is where it all started. This was a low production run. I think they made 5 of these. This is the first one, I believe. And just to do a little bit of evolution, going from something like this to something like that. As I say, this is based on a Porsche 997 with this absolutely insane bubble roof. It has some other really, really cool little trick features, including the Chavoski tail lights and the Chavoski studs in the center of the wheels. But it actually has a projected rear tail light. So that little light there will actually project the tail light shape just here for when you need to brake. Oh, wow. This is a lovely look at the evolution of the completely bonkers and mad company of Rinspeed. Okay, right, time is short because I'm being billed by the minute by Frank, and I'm starting to lose, well, everything.
And a fraction of a minute.
It's a fraction of, it's like a lawyer. He's like a Swiss lawyer.
Yes.
Firstly, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For not just allowing us to come and film, but for giving us the run of the place. You've literally given us 2 levels of cars that we can just go and do whatever we want with, effectively. I'm stood by this one because it has absolutely blown me away. Obviously, the Bedouin 996 Turbo that we saw at the museum earlier was the centerpiece for me. I've come here and got interaction with this, and this has blown me away even more so. Now, there is a theme here that I think some of you guys watching will be able to pick up, and that is kind of a Porsche-esque theme. And one question I really would like to ask you, Frank, And I think a lot of people will also want to know, if you are creating mad concepts like this, what on earth do you drive daily?
Well, you know, in daily life I'm more subtle. I do not really want to show off. My heart still beats for Porsche. My daily car is 911, but my wife has an electric car, a Renault Megane.
Yeah.
So we're trading off CO2 emissions a little bit. And for the city, I really love electric cars. And to go a little bit faster on German autobahns.
Of course.
My 11 can do much better than an electric car at top speeds.
At top speeds. And a lot of my viewers are quite nerdy, a bit like me, very boring like me. The 911 that you have is a 992, I believe, is that right?
It's the latest 4S.
I mean, does it get much better than
There's
that?
only 1,000 miles on it yet, so...
Yeah, okay, so there we are, guys. You can see evidence of your passions in a lot of what you said. The electric car passion comes into play, the sustainability you talked about, trading off, using the electric car in the 911, and the Porsche element. I do actually have one more burning question, if you don't mind. And Adam wants to know this as well. Are these headlights from a Ferrari 612 Scaglietti?
It's from Ferrari. I don't recall which one.
It's the 612, isn't it?
You want to bet?
I think so. Well, I don't. We've both thought it might be a 612 Scaglietti. Whoever, if I ever saw a picture of this, I would think whoever came up with the idea of putting a 612 Scaglietti headlight on a Porsche 997 with a perplex roof and orange wheels, I think they're a genius. And now I have met you, I know you are a genius. So
Thank
Frank,
you so much.
thank you so
My
much.
pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
My
Guys,
pleasure.
go and check out Rinspeed. Absolutely insane. Thank you very much. And please hit the subscribe button. You can just see it, can't you? But my coffee was terrible. I want a refund. That's terrible.
It's too late. Refund is 5 minutes.
It costs you to get that refund.